On today's Titan Wealth podcast, I'm going to be talking to Sophie and Holly about life in the Channel Islands, providing a superb client experience for clients, including, believe it or not, dog sitting, but also the whole range of services and propositions that's available to our clients through the Channel Islands and the learnings that Titan can take from that across its whole group. Of course, we ask the question, what does one Titan mean to them? Sophie, Holly, welcome to the Titan Wealth podcast. Before we jump into the meaty subject of client experience, maybe you could just introduce yourselves for the benefits of the viewers. So I'll start with you, Sophie.
Hi. So I feel very much like I'm on the wrong side of the table for this one. As you know, I'm normally doing the interviewing, so this is a much less comfortable scenario for me. So I'm Sophie Yabsley. I am MD in the Channel Islands of the business that was formerly Ravenscroft. I am an investment manager by trade, and I also head up the client services team.
Great. Thank you. Holly?
I head up the portfolio management team in Guernsey, so mostly working on the discretionary side and our client base there. And Sophie and I have worked together for about 14 years now.
It's 14.
Yeah.
Very good.
Long time.
And I'm looking forward to you being now poacher turned gamekeeper. I'm gonna revel on that and dive right in. So, first question then. We're talking about client experience today. If I start with you, Sophie, what does client experience mean to you in relation to a small community? What are the things that you have to consider?
It's above and beyond, really. In the most positive sense of the phrase, we don't really have boundaries in that it's not like I can imagine it might be in other jurisdictions whereby you leave your desk at whatever time it might be, 4, 5, 6, 7 p.m. And then, you leave work behind, because what you'll do is you'll pop to the supermarket on the way home and the first person you'll bump into will be a client. Roughly speaking, there's about 100,000 people in Jersey and about 60,000 people in Guernsey. And so, the clients really are everywhere you go. Usually the places where it's least convenience, you've got your kids at the swimming pool and you're just trying to wrestle an armband onto them, and then a client will tap you on the shoulder and ask how their pension's doing.
And from your perspective then, Holly, does that present challenges, or are you just used to it now?
I think you get used to it. I think it almost heightens the experience of being in front of clients, because I think most people in the service industry do it because they get satisfaction from doing a good job and they like the client feedback. Whereas I think our feedback is instant. It's not just emails back and forth, as Sophie said. It's, meeting people in the supermarket, at dinner, on the beach. So you always have to be sort of have that professional face on, friendly face, be ready to take questions and meet people. So I think it amplifies the situation.
Yeah,
you have to really know what you're doing, don't you? You can't be winging it in a 9 to 5. You have to really deeply understand what it is that we're trying to achieve for clients.
And do you find that you have to have an intrinsic knowledge of everything within the bit, because they could ask you about any part of their relationship, right? So you need to be all over the detail.
Yes, I think that everybody needs to be a generalist.
Yeah, okay.
You can be an expert in your particular area, but you need to have a really good awareness of what's going on, certainly within our business. And now I would extend that to at a wider group. So we need to be really aware of what Titan's doing on an international stage in order that we can communicate on that as well.
Okay. And what are some of the benefits then of it being a small community and having that kind of proximity and that closeness of relationship? How can that be an advantage for you? And then we'll perhaps look at some of the disadvantages next.
So one of the most amazing things for us has been the success that we've had based on word of mouth recommendations. Okay. So we ask our clients when they open accounts with us, we ask them why they've come and chosen to open an account with Titan. And on the face of it, about 45% of those say it's a recommendation or word of mouth. Another 45% say other, and then we ask for more detail on that, and almost all of them reference some kind of word of mouth experience, or, oh, my auntie has an account with you, or, the remaining percentage comes from digital marketing, media, brand awareness, but a really solid 90-ish% comes from word of mouth.
Yeah, okay.
And that is really prevalent in a small community. And it means that not only are our clients our best brand ambassadors, but so are our team as well. So we need to make sure that our team are really happy, because if you think 130 odd people in the Channel Islands speaking very positively about the place that they're working, about the experience that they're having in their day-to-day work, if they're out talking about that around the dinner table and when they're out and about with friends and family, that's a really powerful message going out into a small community.
Great. And obviously, conversely, the risk is if it's a bad experience, then again, all of the things you've just said apply in reverse, yeah?
We're very, very conscious of reputation, and we have it listed on our risk register as a really important risk to us. It's not always about the risk itself, but about how you handle things, right? I think operating in a small community means that integrity is even more important to us as a business than it would be in a large jurisdiction.
Okay, great. So I want to dive in then about understanding what you guys do on the Channel Islands, on these mystery islands. So perhaps Holly, if you could start, just enlighten us, what do you do day to day? What does a typical day, week look like in terms of the role that you play within the business?
Yeah, so on the discretionary side of the business, we are, and particularly on the portfolio management side, we are meeting clients to try and understand why they want to invest, how we can help them, and whether it's continuing their investment journey or whether it's, introducing them to the first time that they're investing. So we'll meet them, hopefully put them at ease, engage with them about their life circumstances and why they want to invest. And then the other side, sort of more operationally, would be actually putting these things in place. So accepting their funds, doing investment recommendations, investing the money. So partaking in sort of investment committee meetings as well. And then every bit of client service in between. And we've got teams across the business, not just sort of client-facing teams that really help make that happen operationally as well.
Okay. And do you have a typical day? Are any 2 days the same?
I think that's one of the nice perks about the job is that you never quite know what you're sort of waking up for or going into the office to do. We had a client pop in the other day, wanted to send us a cheque. The bank wouldn't accept it. So one of us got dragged down into the bank to go and demand why we wouldn't accept these funds. So that sort of takes an hour out of your day. Clients bring their dogs into the office. So we become sort of, play area. So I think there's no typical day, but that's why we love what we do, I think.
Yeah, great.
Well, you make us sound like a community centre. I suppose it is a bit like that sometimes, isn't it? We have clients that pop in when it's raining and ask if they can steal an umbrella.
It's brilliant. You said that to me before, but literally the concept of clients walking in just to have a chat is very normal. Which obviously, we're a global business. That's quite an abstract idea, but that's something that's real and it happens every day.
Every day.
So what about yourself, Sophie? What's your job? What do you do day to day?
Well, so as a business, we do all things investments, okay? And I always say it's kind of like a spectrum of involvement. So depending on, it all starts with a client and what it is they're trying to achieve. And that's the first thing that we need to really understand. So when I talk about a spectrum of involvement, we have everything from execution only, where a client is telling us what trades they want to transact, and we just make sure they get best execution on those, and we're offering reporting, safe custody. Then you have a very traditional advisory stockbroking service, which is something that has a lot of businesses now have kind of shied away from. We've seen our peers step away from the traditional. It can be confusing in a financial advice business to talk about advice in this context, but this is, talking about individual stocks and shares and creating a very bespoke portfolio for a client. So no two advisory stockbroking clients will ever look the same. And for us, that's been a real gateway to other services. It's something that other people aren't offering, and it's something that our clients really, really enjoy, and they build very deep, meaningful relationships with their stockbrokers. Because it is such a tailored service. Yeah. Then we have your discretionary service, which is what Holly looks after, which is more of a lock up and leave. You're not expected to have any investment expertise or experience. We do it all for you. We just get an understanding of your circumstances and make sure that we're investing in a suitable way. Then we have our kind of more niche services. So lots of people like to talk to us about the vault, which is full of shiny gold and silver and a little bit of platinum palladium. And then we have our cash management service, which is diversified portfolios of cash, usually for corporate or ultra high net worth clients. We are now, since our purchase of Advisor in Jersey, able to offer financial planning in the Channel Islands, and we also own a portion of a tax business called LTS. So we have a kind of a pretty full suite of products in the Channel Islands. And what's quite nice about that is that we almost represent a microcosm of Titan as a whole.
Yeah.
So we're like a mini Titan in the Channel Islands.
Yeah, very good. And what's your role then? So that's obviously a really good explanation of what the range of services is offered across Jersey and Guernsey. But what's your role again, day to day, week to week?
I just do this, and then Holly and the team do all the work. That's it. So my role is really reactive. In terms of clients. So I look after a book of clients, some of whom I've been working with for 2 decades now. So it's very much based around what they want and what they need, and they're all different. They really range in size as well. Then I have the director role, where we're obviously looking after the business, making sure that all of our regulatory requirements are satisfied. And then I also play a role working at group level, making sure that we integrate as best we can, making sure that we are on hand to help in any way that we can, and really playing a meaningful part in the wider Titan group.
Very good. And I know obviously part of your board responsibility as well is that you represent the voice of the client at a board level, and that's very explicit. So what does that responsibility involve? Talk us through what role do you play and how does that manifest in terms of being that voice of the client?
It's a really interesting side of the role, actually. So I see it as a kind of role of devil's advocacy. So when we're making decisions at a board level, I will always try to represent the client. So there will be times when I'm almost conflicted against myself. We might be looking at a change at top level that I can see as a director would be a sensible move for the business, but I think that clients may react a certain way to that. And my job is to weigh those two things up and communicate that view with the board. And I think that it's really important that I retain relationships with clients, because how can you know what they want if you're not talking to them every day?
Yeah, very good. And from your perspective, Holly, how does that make you feel, knowing that voice of the client is represented at a board level?
I think it's a really positive thing. I think it means that when we sit in front of clients and we're speaking honestly to them about the service that we can deliver and the changes that might be happening, particularly as we integrate, it means that we can sort of be very transparent to them, because we have information coming down from the board to team members in the business. But it also means that when we ask clients for feedback, recommendations, any concerns that they might have, that we know that there's a direct channel upwards and that their voice is being heard.
Great. And does that help with building kind of a client focus across the group as well, within your business?
I think so. Again, it sort of comes down to trust and feedback, and trying to maintain those high standards. But I think having more communication about whether it is changes around the business or expansion or things that clients need, and putting the client first in sort of every decision that we make, whether it's choosing the right investments or changing our systems, saying, will this impact the client? Are we doing it for the right reasons? Will they have a better outcome? I think that's a really positive thing.
Great. So one of the things that I'm always fascinated with when we talk, Sophie, is some of the examples that you bring about, the type of client experiences that you deliver, or the things that you're asked to do for your clients.
Which rarely involve investments, right?
Well, yeah, all part of the service, I guess. And so you just bring that to life for us, some of the weird and wonderful and wacky things that you do for your clients, which really do embed that kind of going the extra mile for them.
Yeah, so I was chatting to a client. It must have been a Wednesday or a Thursday. And I said, have you got any nice plans for the weekend? And she said, well, I've got tickets to a gig in London, but my dog sitter has pulled out. She's not well, so I don't think we'll be able to go because we've got no one to look after Jenny and Dave, the dogs. And I was like, right, you've got to go to this gig. I'll have them. So the dogs moved in for the weekend, and I looked after them, which was definitely not anything to do with investments. But you know what? It was good fun. And yeah, who wouldn't do that? I mean, it was... what other weird and wonderful things have we done?
Well, I think clients remember it
as
well. And I think when you're thinking about growing our businesses or strengthening relationships with clients, doing that little thing, which, you had a fun weekend, kids would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's no harm to us, but it's just going that little bit extra. I think
we're often surprised that we are, because of the relationships we've formed, we are often the first person a client calls.
Okay.
And, you know, sometimes that can be in times of distress when people are going through something personally. But other times it can be something really quite bizarre, you know, where they've tried to buy a cheap phone and it's turned up and it's in Hungarian and they think that we're the people that will be able to sort that for them and get it into English. I mean, you know, you couldn't...
Did you sort that?
Yes. You couldn't make it up in some instances, you know?
Yeah. But that's great. And I guess that's interesting, isn't it? Because again, when we think about Titan being a global business, actually the way that we grow and differentiate is through those hyper-local, one-to-one relationships and conversations. And that, you know, you can still be a big business, but if the client experience is, as you've outlined there, that's hugely powerful because why would they not trust us when you're going that extra mile for them, things like that?
Yeah, so our mantra now as part of Titan is a local business on a global scale.
Yeah, brilliant. I like that. And what do you think?
Recorded, Mike, so if you steal that, you're going to have to credit me now.
Yeah, no problem. And do you think, what do you think the wider group then can learn from some of those experiences in the Channel Islands? Maybe yourself, Holly, first. Do you think it is applicable and there is a kind of read across to other parts of the business?
I think the intention should be, yeah. I think it's slightly easier for us in that, you know, we can pop to a client's house on the way home and it takes us, you know, the joke is that everywhere's 15 minutes away in Guernsey or Jersey, and that is true, but we can do those things easily. But I think the crux of that is that we're accessible. So, you know, people aren't going to sit in traffic in Dubai potentially or run across London for clients because of timing and proximity, but they can still pick up a phone quickly or respond to an email quickly and provide that sort of high level of service still. So I think those are the sorts of bits that can still expand as we grow.
Yeah, great. What about yourself?
I think what's been incredibly reassuring to me as I've gotten to know different people around Titan Group is that pretty much everyone that I've spoken to feels the same as we do about their clients. So they might not be doing exactly the same
dog sitting.
But they might not be showing it in the same way, and they might not be working with them in the same way across the same services. But that passion for looking after clients and being better than everyone else in terms of the service that we offer and going above and beyond is there throughout all the businesses. And that has been really, really reassuring.
Great. And I just want to dive in a bit more into the culture then on the, you know, within the team. Because you've said already, obviously, it's, you know, small islands, very much about local community, personal relationships, professional relationships often overlap. Most people, I assume, are in the office because they're 15 minutes away from the office. So again, that builds community. But just bring that to life for us in terms of, you know, what would you say the culture is within the team on the Channel Islands?
It's really hard to put your finger on culture, isn't it? I think that the fact that there's a few things that people introduce their friends and family to us, staff members. So I look after many parents of staff that we work with. There's a huge trust involved in that, right? You know, they're not going to bring their potentially elderly mother to see you if they think you're going to, you know, give anything other than the best advice and service. Yeah. We're really aligned with our clients, so we won't sell our clients anything that we wouldn't invest into ourselves. So all of our staff, we have the way our pension is structured in the Channel Islands is that we can only invest into Titan funds. So we're all aligned with our clients. There's no way I could say to somebody, oh, I think you should put your hard-earned money in this, but mine's managed down the road by so-and-so. You know, you have to eat your own cooking, and that's been really important to us as well. And all of these things kind of feed into the culture, don't they?
Yeah, I think from a team perspective, as Sophie said, we're sort of have or cover quite a lot of functions in the Channel Islands, and that takes lots of different personality types, people who are talking to the clients, people that are engaging, bringing clients to the door, but then we've got fantastic teams that are help us retain them, you know, people that perhaps happier behind a screen on a spreadsheet on Bloomberg, but you know, it's all bringing everybody together, and I think everybody in our business, I'd hope, feels that they do definitely play a part in that.
And I know you invest a lot, don't you, in client events? Not just for a get-together or a jolly, that is actually a really important part that clients look forward to as part of the social calendar. So again, just share that with us. What sort of things do you do? Yeah,
over the years, and I don't really think that in the first instance this was intentional. It's kind of just happened, is that what we've created is a real community for our clients, certainly in Guernsey, and we're working very hard now to also build that in Jersey. And, you know, I don't know at what point we realised it, but we have a drinks party for clients at Christmas. And one year we just realised, wait, they're not here to see us, they're here to see each other.
Yeah.
And actually it's a really nice thing because, they all, want to spend time with each other. And we actually love spending time with our clients. We try to make them really diverse, as you would with a kind of sports and social. Some events appeal to some people, some events appeal to others. And for little islands, there's quite a lot going on in the Channel Islands. And it's really important to us that our clients have that visibility and that that their relationship managers are really present and tangible and contactable.
Yeah.
And I mean, I at these things, I spend probably 5% of my time talking about investments and portfolios and 95% talking about
them and their lives and
their grandkids and where their next holiday is and how awful the cruise was and, all the usual life stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice opportunity as well for clients to meet more people. Mm-hmm. So typically it's sort of one or two people that they may have as their primary contact on a day-to-day basis, but it goes back to we've got a broader team. So it's nice that, they can meet more people. Sometimes it attracts them to different services. They want to do other things, but again, it's all keeping them within the same sort of group, really.
Yeah, great. I wanted to just touch on your experience, obviously, as an acquired business coming into the group. We touched on the podcast with Katrina about, the kind of a global brand, but then also hyper-local marketing in terms of how you adopted the brand, the Titan brand, very quickly. But what was the experience like for both of you personally in terms of becoming acquired and then moving into a new business? And, just talk us through how that felt. Maybe start with you, Sophie.
I think whatever I say here, I have such a positive outlook on it that whatever I say is going to sound really contrived and scripted. Titan obviously do pay my salary, so you're going to think I'm aligned with it. But actually, it was such an incredible experience. For me, I really like change. You might have a different opinion on that. But for me, it was all very exciting. I love meeting new people, so that was a real positive as well. Being able to, all of the services that we offer in the Channel Islands have been driven by client demand.
Yeah.
And actually, then having the investment behind us to expand those further has been brilliant because we can now, look to our clients and say, look at these other things that we offer, which might be of interest to you, which is, a really nice story to tell. And I think that people were understandably nervous when we were bought because we're a very established brand and business in the Channel Islands. Mm-hmm. But I think once they saw that nothing had really changed, and that other than us, we used to be red and now we're purple, the same people were there delivering the same level of service, offering the same investment solutions. People then relaxed into that. And I think now people are really supportive of that journey for us.
That's great. Was your experience the same or slightly different?
I think it was the same. I think there was a bit of apprehension at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think our previous business was sort of 20 years old at that point or close to it. And some of the clients have been there for a very long period of time. And as Sophie said, I think in the end, clients are also very excited about the opportunities that they see we're having as well. They're supportive of us. But I think a lot of individuals within the business were making extra effort to reassure clients throughout that time. So client contact was really, really high. Yeah. But we're sort of a year in. We've had a number of events recently which have gone very well. I think people, particularly in Jersey as well, which we've often been seen as a Guernsey business in Jersey, whereas I think that's now changing because they're seeing as something more well established and global, as we said.
Yeah.
And part of that is James and Andrew and Paul Hunt and several other senior members of staff have made a real effort to be present in the islands and in particularly in Jersey.
Yeah.
So I think people really start to feel that, we don't just say that we're present there, we actually are present there, and that means something to people when they live there.
Yeah, great. And the scope of your roles both change as well with the group getting bigger. Everything you've talked about in terms of the role you play, is that what you did previously, or have you also grown with the group as it's expanded?
Yeah, I'm now a podcast host, aren't I? I definitely wasn't doing that before.
Yeah, me neither.
It creates incredible opportunities for people if they want them. There's no pressure to do other things or to change, but if you'd like to explore what else the group has to offer, then people are very open to having those conversations. I have been to places that I hadn't been to before. I've just met amazing people, and as Holly alluded to, our clients have been so delighted for us, that we have those opportunities, and they're always asking, oh, will your role change, or what are you doing next? And, oh, have you been to this office in so-and-so? My sister lives there. And, it opens up interesting conversations with clients as well.
Yeah, great. Has it changed much for you as well, Holly, in terms of your day-to-day job?
Not sort of day to day, but I would say it's exciting that we do have, whether it's infrastructure, tech behind it. We've met lots of different teams around the business who do similar roles to ours, and getting to know them, what their processes are like, what their systems are like, and almost sort of collaborating a bit more. I think that's the really exciting thing about how we bring this forward, listening to different people's ideas and sort of taking the best bits of everything and hopefully creating a really positive solution at the end.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
There's so much to learn, isn't there, from around the group? Yes,
I think it's a learning opportunity. Is this?
Yeah, great, excellent. I wanted to ask you, Sophie, what excites you most looking forward? So that we talked about where the business has come from, talked about the importance of client relationships. When you think about Titan as a whole and the vision and where we're heading, what personally excites you the most in terms of either personal opportunity for the team or for the wider group?
I think that what's been really nice about having lots of different investment services and lots of different strategies is that we've been able to support clients as they move through their life via different life events and, change their portfolios and their strategies with them. And again, this comes back to our business being a kind of microcosm. Yeah. Actually, when you look at Titan on a group level, you can scale that up no end. Clients that are moving between different roles across different countries with, different, tax regimes and financial planning requirements and different life stages within that, we can really elevate the service that we're offering clients, and it can become really, really tailored on a much bigger scale than we could have ever hoped for previously.
Excellent. Okay, we are drawing to a close. We have asked everyone on these podcasts one question at the end of all of them, so I'm going to ask you as well. Sophie, I expect yours to be properly polished.
You'd think I'd be prepared for this,
because you've asked this so many times with other people. But Holly, I'll start with you. When we say One Titan, we often refer to One Titan quite a lot as a group. But what does One Titan mean to you personally?
I think it's just a network of people wanting to strive to do amazing things. As I said, it comes back to meeting lots of different people and not necessarily all in person, but everybody's been very engaging. It's a learning curve for everybody. And I think, as Sophie said, we were very lucky in the Channel Islands and we had a fantastic business, but this almost just elevates it and the opportunities that we may have going forward.
Great. Sophie?
I think when I really think about what it means to me, it always seems to come back round to trust. It's trusting that when you introduce a client to somebody around Titan, that they're going to look after them in the same way that you would. It's trusting the strategy and the vision that James and Andrew have. It's trusting that we all want to align and work together for the best possible outcomes. And it's just really, I think that is that's a real meaning to that, trusting that when I turn up in a different office that I'm going to be, treated like a Titan and made to feel welcome and treated like one of the team. And similarly that we will do that in the Channel Islands. I think that's what really underpins it for me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I've really enjoyed getting to know more about how you dog sit, and but also look after
That's
clients.
what everyone will take away from this, isn't it now?
But no, it's been great. So thank you, Sophie, Holly, for joining me today.
Thanks so much, Mike.